Let's just wait for a few people to join. Hi guys, thank you for joining LynkTown's Live with Labels. We'll just wait a couple of minutes before our guest comes on today. So till then, just let us know if you have any queries. Today our guest is going to be a representative from Latha Putana. So if you have any particular queries or you would like to know some insights into something specific, please be sure to leave it in the comment section. We should be getting started now in a couple of minutes, so if you could all just stay tuned till then, let's just get it going. Hi Tia, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Great, great. Do you want to just wait a couple of minutes till a few more people join?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. So how's your day going so far? How's everything?
Good. I took my kids and mom to their favorite restaurant.
Nice.
Had to go into work,
Mm-hmm.
and just having a good fun Saturday. How about you?
And pretty much all of us just had like an office lunch together, and we're all just having a pretty laid back Saturday today. So good to hear that
That
you're also having a pretty good day. Yeah. So
yeah.
we'll just get started slowly. I'll just start with kind of introducing a little bit about us here at LynkTown, and we can kind of take it forward from there. So, hi everybody. Thank you for joining today's Live with Neighbors. I'm Ananya, and I'm absolutely delighted to be in conversation here with Tia from Latha Putana, and hopefully we'll be able to share some valuable insights with all of you. So, a little bit about LynkTown initially. So, here at LynkTown, basically, imagine a community where creativity, passion, and collaboration are the ultimate fashion trends. And that's precisely what we've nurtured here at LynkTown, where basically we have a thriving hub of designers and brands where they come together to network, learn, and grow. So we would like to consider LynkTown as our go-to social commerce platform, and our goal is to empower designers and brands by leveraging the potential of social selling and enabling them to connect with a broader audience through social media. So whether you're an aspiring designer or an established D2C brand, LynkTown is the place for all of you. So now, talking about the person of the hour. So a little bit here to introduce Latha Putana. So Latha Putana is basically a brand that skillfully merges tradition and innovation, giving life to timeless pieces that truly capture the heart of Indian aesthetics. So every creation is like a living story and a tribute to the rich culture of our country and heritage. With a remarkable journey, Latha Putana has become synonymous with flawless colors, opulent silks, and intricate craftsmanship. From celebrities like Vidya Balan, Tapsi Pannu to Kirti Suresh and their amazing partnerships with artisans, each piece tells its own special tale. And joining us today for our live session is Tia from Latha Putana, and she'll be walking us through the very essence that sets Putana apart from everything else. So lovely to have you here today, Tia. So to start out with, can you just tell us a little bit about your journey in Latha Putana and how you're involved in the brand?
So I joined Latha Putana about 7 years ago. I am also Latha Putana's daughter-in-law. I currently head the sales and marketing. I'm an architect by profession, but I
Okay.
love all things art, and I saw a big need and space for me at the company, and here to kind of help take it to the vision that we have envisioned for it.
That's lovely, and it's nice. I think it's pretty nice that you have a technically a different kind of design background yourself. So I think this was just another niche that you would have loved to explore altogether.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about the initial days of Latha Putana itself as a brand, like the creation and how the vision evolved over time?
Sure. So our brand is 31 years old. Latha started it at the age of 29. Um, Basically because she's a born fashion designer. She dressed so spectacularly that
Definitely,
everybody
yes.
around her is always in awe of what she wears. And people kept, her friends and family kept telling her, make us what we would buy it. So, with the firm encouragement of her mom and husband, she put together a collection of 75 salwars,
Wow.
um,
Okay.
all the way back 31 years ago. And her mom had a little kind of preview or small exhibition of sorts at their house. And they just invited their family and friends. And she sold about 69 of those
Wow.
75 pieces. Yes.
Wow.
And that is how it all began. So, that gave her a lot of confidence
For
to
sure.
kind of do one more. And then that sold out. And then she did one more. And it's just the power of passion and persistence that has
Definitely,
kind of
yes.
brought her here 31 years later.
And I think it's a lovely story to begin with such humble roots and then grow to such a length. I think that's really inspirational to see for any designer watching as well. So, could you talk a little bit about how, in the current scenario, how the label connects with the younger audience while still keeping its tradition and roots intact?
So, you won't believe of in the last 2 to 3 years, we have explored a lot of different silhouettes in our core fabrics. So the fabrics are again our pure silk. We do a lot of hand embroidery. The colors remain the same, but we've done things like bikini tops and bralette
Right.
tops. And you won't believe sometimes Latha has to keep her eyes closed because she can't
I'm
believe
sure.
that we've pushed for things like this, but they've sold out. People love it. So the core is the same, but we're making a slight tweaks with the silhouettes, and we're getting a really good response for that. So I think that's
I think
how
that's
we
lovely.
kind of reaching out to a more younger audience.
I think that's lovely. And I think with the younger audience right now and how especially fashion is evolving right in front of us, a lot of the younger audience does look for a lot of meaningful impact that a brand is providing in the fashion sphere as well.
Yeah.
So, in terms of that, how do you think Latha Putana fits in that kind of space of trying to kind of convey your brand message or have a specific social impact that you want to put forward with the brand?
So even before the word called social impact or sustainability came in, the ethos that Latha works with is that 100% that. Her love for the earth, I can tell you, is just paramount. She
That's
will never use an artificial color. We have never, ever in 31 years used an artificial textile. We
wow.
only
Okay.
do natural fibers. We only use pure silk, pure linen, pure cotton. Use a lot of hand woven fabrics. So sustainability is at the root of our brand, and a
Definitely.
lot of people come to us. Um, you know, we're living it. We have been living it 3 decades. So we don't really need to say too much because when they come to us, so they know we are it. So I think that's a good practice set in stone by Latha, which all of us just follow.
I think that's wonderful. I think that a lot of brands, at least the newer brands nowadays, are trying to start out with that. But I think it's truly remarkable that a brand that started over 3 decades ago was following that practice from their first day. And I think that's something that you don't see much around in the fashion sphere, at least in Indian fashion in the
A lot of
recent
people
times.
talk it, but doing it and talking it are two different things.
Definitely, completely different things. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Speaking of the sourcing your fabrics like ethically and having very authentic things from the get-go of the brand, how is it collaborating with a lot of artisans, and how do you think that maintains like the authenticity and quality of the products of Latha Putana?
so Latha loves all things handcrafted and
Mm-hmm.
all things Indian. So from the age of 29 when she started, she would literally walk from street to street whenever she traveled, and she loves traveling. She's
Mm-hmm.
gone to every nook and corner of every part of India and a lot of countries abroad. But whenever she travels in India, there's always an ulterior motive to,
Mm-hmm.
walk into a particular gully that you've heard of, one particular craftsman who does one particular ajrak in Gujarat or Rajasthan, one who one particular Dhakai cotton in one rural town in West Bengal, or
Mm-hmm.
one particular kalamkari artist who does fabulous work in Kalasti, and she'll find them, and then once she brings them on board, they've been with us for life, literally. So one of the most important things is when you find talent like that, you have to make sure you give them continuous work.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
and we start to feel a sense of uh, what can I say? A sense that we have to take care of them. So
Definitely, yeah.
a social conscience. Once that is set in place, then everything starts working around that. So that's one
Mm-hmm.
of the always.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think also as in when you have these artisans and as you mentioned, it's a journey from there. It's not just a one-time thing. I think they also kind of become the building blocks of the brand as it goes
Yes,
forward.
absolutely.
So that's so I think that's very important as well. So as you were mentioning, you work a lot in the marketing side of La Putana and the collection. So how would you tell that social media as a tool has worked for you and your experience with how you're engaging the audience through your personal profiles on Latha
So
Putana?
I think social media is an extremely important and
Mm-hmm.
extremely relevant tool to engage
Mm-hmm.
with customers in today's day and age. Because if I can work on my social media well, I can
Mm-hmm.
sell to the. I don't need to
Yep.
travel back to travel country, go to America, or UK, Dubai, and carry all our clothes. But the better
Mm-hmm.
you get social media, the more you realize exactly who and sell to the world. So
Mm-hmm.
work is extremely important. So make it your best friend, because if you
Definitely.
can work through social media, you can work the world for yourself. So
Yeah.
that's something that we work a lot on, right?
That's great to hear. And I think that is also something here at LynkTown, which is kind of the core of what we believe in when it comes to helping out a lot of smaller designers and a lot of brands. And we really want to put out the message that social media is something that isn't necessarily where a lot of brands think where is something that's daunting or is something that is might not be necessary in this sphere. And I think it's very important for brands, especially older brands, to embrace social media and kind of
Any
welcome
brand,
the kind of
any
sphere.
brand
Definitely, yes.
age with social media. If you think
Hmm.
you don't, I think you're foolish.
Hmm. Yeah. Right. Also, could you just talk to me a little bit about the proudest moments Latha has had after starting the brand, or kind of the milestones that you as a brand hold very close, both you and Latha's people? What do you think is the milestones that you set us aside?
So I think the big ones would be when she was invited to the Lakme.
Mm-hmm.
We showcased that twice. That is definitely something big, to be kind of recognized own community
Mm-hmm.
is definitely a moment of pride. Especially for us being South Indians. I mean,
Yes.
Bombay
Yes.
is so dauntingly far away, and it seems so glamorous and so way out of your reach.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
very exciting to showcase over there. I think some of the other smaller things are when you win awards, and
Mm-hmm.
we only take awards that we do not pay for.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get 5,000 awards today if you can pay for it. It's so fundamentally ridiculous. But
Yeah.
yeah, winning all awards. And the small things are when you walk down the street, you see somebody wearing a Latha
Yeah.
Putana. I mean, they don't recognize us, but it's just so joyful to see somebody
Yeah.
wearing your clothes. So
Definitely. And I think that is something that's for you, not for the person wearing it.
yes,
That moment of happiness.
yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. So those are the
Yeah.
little joys that we enjoy along.
Yeah, that's lovely. And I think you as a brand, Latha Putana, has really over the time also embraced the whole ageless beauty concept and really not in a direct way where you're putting out messaging like that, but I think the way your social media is structured and the way you're telling your brand story as well, it's very turning around the concept about how fashion is ageless and how anything that you want to do with what you wear doesn't have to correlate to any specific age bracket or anything. So, as a brand, is that something that you're consciously putting out as a message, or it's something that has been ingrained since the get go of the brand? So, it's never really come across as something like that.
So I think for Latha, um, see, she's never had any formal
Mm-hmm.
education in fashion. So spotting a trend, uh, following a fad has
Mm-hmm.
never been, something that we do. She's always used beautiful fabrics,
Mm-hmm.
and she's always made them to be wearable for
Mm-hmm.
different generations. So agelessness is one of her key characteristics, I would say. Um, she always says
Definitely.
you should make sure that you wear the garment and not the garment
Mm-hmm.
wears you. So even bridal wear, there are brides. She keeps telling them, wear it and then bring it back. We'll make something else with it, so you can
Definitely.
wear it some other way. I mean, she feels it's so terrible to buy something so expensive and then not be able to
Just wear
wear
it
it again.
once. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is just something that is one of her very, very key characteristics. So when it is part of your key characteristic, your brand is going to
Mm-hmm.
imbibe it as well. And hence, agelessness is just something that is is a part and parcel of our brand.
I think that's gorgeous, and I think that's something that comes across very subtly on your brand as well. So I think that's really lovely to see as an audience member when it comes to consuming a lot of the content and a lot of the collections that you have put out. And I think to just wrap up this segment of questions, while moving into the direct to consumer market, did you find any difficulties, or what would designers generally find difficult while approaching the D2C segment in the fashion sphere?
So it is a tough direct to consumer is very difficult. You have to be seen in enough
Mm-hmm.
spaces. You have to figure out how you're either going to do it by different exhibitions or by social
Mm-hmm.
media or being in multi designer stores.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it, it it's a tough thing to work around, but if you have the passion for it, you will have to kind of spend a couple of years
Mm.
building your brand. And I think if you really have passion for it, you'll figure out what works and
Mm-hmm.
stick with it. See, there's no one rule. There, everybody
Right.
has their um, own little mystery to
Mm-hmm.
crack on that. For us, it was always doing solo exhibitions. We
Okay.
never really enjoyed doing exhibitions with multiple other designers. So that is the route that we took. That, I mean, I
Okay.
don't advise that to anybody. It's just
Mm-hmm.
the kind of person that Latha is. She just likes feels that being in a smaller crowd with a more focused audience has always done better for our brand. So that's what we did. It takes a long time though to build your brand and build your client that way. But each person has to figure out what works.
Great. I think that's lovely. I think especially since you had mentioned that in the start it was a smaller group with a very specific collection and it got sold out. And the second time that Latha did that in the initial days, I think it was really ingrained in the brand that that was the kind of route that you were supposed to take. So I think that's really nice that you were able to find the path that was perfect for Latha Putana. And we've got another question from the comments section before we move on to our next segment. It is anything you would do with older silk saris?
Yes, a lot. In fact, you won't believe during the pandemic, we did a lot of revival of old saris. So we had so many women who were just, everybody's just sitting at home, not doing anything, not going to functions. And then finally you get invited to a function. You haven't been able to go shop. So a lot of them, and also the value for what you have in your cupboard kind of peaked during the pandemic. So we had a lot of clients who brought in their old saris and we made them into langas, lehengas, salwars, jackets, so many different things. And it was a joy because some of the textiles that we saw was so fabulous. You don't even see textiles like that anymore. So with the old saris, we first need to check the strength of the sari. When you pull it, it should not rip. If it rips, then it's too tough. You can't, it's not advisable to do anything. But if it has tensile strength, then we can definitely do something with it.
Lovely. Yeah, I think that is something that people in the comments also would be excited to hear because there is a lot you can do apart from the whole thrifting culture that has come now with Gen Z on the internet. I think it has kind of been an Indian culture for generations that you will take your grandmother's sari, you might redo it, you might just put it up your own way. So I think that is something that is ingrained in our culture since the beginning. And now that your brand is something that allows people to put that forward, I think that's really great.
Yeah.
Now we're going to our last segment of questions, which is kind of like a rapid fire round. So you'll need to answer these questions probably in a couple of sentences, or some of them are just one word answers as well.
Okay.
So we can just dive right into that. So first, what's your favorite piece out of Latha Putana? Like just one outfit that completely clicks for you.
So I'd have to say her iconic matka necked sari blouse.
Right. Yes, we were all taking a look at that as well.
She designed one particular one in 1992, and it's kind of become like our logo, literally our emblem. It's called our logo sari. The blouse of that, I mean, I get goosebumps when I wear it.
That's lovely. Yeah, it's really stunning. Yes. What do you think is one statement piece that everybody should consider having in their wardrobe?
A black chiffon sari. Because a black chiffon sari you can wear at night, you can wear it to work, you can dress it up and wear it to a wedding. Black chiffon sari, I would.
Definitely. I think that is also a really timeless piece as well.
Yes, absolutely. Every girl should have.
Definitely, yes. So, what is one thing that is probably coming in the near future for Latha Putana, that a detail that you might be able to kind of dive a little deeper into about something that the audience can expect in the upcoming future?
So, one of the things that we've really been working on are weaves. Doing it in a small way over the last 20 years. But this Tuesday, in fact, we finally launched a collection called Opulent Oats. We worked on it for almost 3 years. It's heavy Mysore crepe silks with pure gold zari. we have 6.5 grams of gold in it. So, you know, when you go to any of these big shops and they say there's pure gold that how much gold actually, we give certificate with it. We take most of textiles, but Latha has some of her fabulous colors and designs. So weaving is something that we want to get in a big way going forward.
I think that's awesome. And I think that is something that a lot of people, at least in the newer generation, they don't know the authenticity or the kind of story that comes behind the sari that they're all wearing. And I think that it's really nice that you're able to provide that information for your
Yes.
audience as well. So, fashion as an expression or fashion as a tale or a story, what is the actual heart of all of Latha Putana's designs?
Fashion as an note. I think fashion should be an expression of what you are. Of course, it has to have a little story behind it because I'm from Kerala, and if I'm going to be wearing a white kashiva sari, then it is a form of expression and it has a story behind it. But I would definitely say fashion should always be a part of your expression. You know, some people love dressing. Some people like dressing very. It has to be an expression of the kind of character that you are. So definitely it has to be part of your expression.
Yeah, great. And what do you think is kind of that signature style or signature expression that Latha herself goes for? What would you kind of describe that as?
Simple, classy elegance. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I think
Yeah.
that's her. Deccan
That's
elegance.
unbeatable.
Deccan elegance.
I think that is something that is very timeless and very unbeatable for most people.
Yeah.
Yes. And as you were mentioning, we are kind of a heavily South Indian brand and we come from South Indian roots. And if Latha Putana was ever to embrace kind of North Indian fashion, what kind of style essence do you think that your brand could bring to that kind of fashion and that kind of sense?
So I think she would love to use, she really loves to use the weaves from West Bengal, the cottons and muslin. So I think she's always trying to incorporate it, but definitely that is one big pull. The Bandhanis and Ajraks from Gujarat and Rajasthan. A lot of that. And she loves Mughal prints, Mughal
Wow,
design,
yeah,
Mughal
gorgeous.
motifs.
Yes.
So I think those are the things I would definitely love to have in some way or form in her play.
Lovely. And what do you think is kind of a lesser known fact about the brand that might surprise people or that maybe you would like to know?
Maybe that we're 31 years old and our flagship store is a 140-year-old heritage home. So
the team and I were looking at the flagship store just before this as well. It's absolutely gorgeous. What a lovely space. So that's really nice.
We've got a wooded of back. So yeah,
lovely.
Really.
Sure. And how would you describe the brand's color palette in like 3 words?
Deep Deccan jewelry. I think that's 4.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. And to kind of just wrap it up, Tia, like imagine yourself like with a fellow fashion enthusiast. What is the kind of advice that you would share with them for them to kind of start their successful brand management journey? Because you come from a more of a managerial standpoint for Latha Putana, right? So what would you tell somebody in that kind of position? What kind of advice would you give them?
So it would first be to understand what your strengths are, um, and then work towards making them better every day. And you want to set up a brand, figure out what you don't have, find someone who can do that for you.
Definitely fill in the gaps. Yeah.
Yes, it's only a team that builds a brand. So find what you like doing first, and then make sure you get amazing.
Yeah, I
One
think
person.
that's really.
So find your passion and hone it.
I think that's lovely. Yeah. So that's kind of about the questions that we have for you today. It was absolutely lovely having you on the panel today. And is there something that you would like to share to the audience just signing off?
Just looking forward to having LynkTown set up
Definitely.
financial services. I'm sure you all are going to help a lot of people.
Thank you so much.
Definitely need a lot of new young minds working in the fashion. We have a lot of problems that we need to kind of sort out fashion.
Yeah.
And it's young, smart minds.
Thank you so much, Dia. It was lovely talking to you. Hopefully, we'll get to interact with you in this capacity or some other capacity really soon. So, looking forward to that.
Thank you so
So,
much.
thank you
Lovely
so
joining you.
much. Yeah. Thank you,
Bye.
everybody else, for joining. Hope you all had a great time as well. Thank you.